In Salinas, city leaders are looking at turning Sherwood Hall into sort of an arts consortium. Tomorrow night, the council will be voting on a deal that would allow the National Steinbeck Center to lease and manage Sherwood Hall.
They are planning on operating with an arts cultural emphasis. A couple of groups, notable groups, will be the Monterey County Symphony, who has been there for many, many years, and El Sistema, which is a music education program brought to us from South America, and it's spreading like wildfire.
Well, the officials with the National Steinbeck Center we talked to say that they're not going to do anything, so the programs and events that are currently being held at the community center would stay, but they'd want to add new art and music groups to offer an art center for youngsters. Even more arts and cultural markers could be popping up over Salinas if city leaders have their way. We get more on that tonight from Action News reporter Brittany Nielsen, who's live in Old Town for us. Brittany?
That's exactly right, Dan. These literary markers and sculptures would really be across the city if approved tomorrow night by the city council. Now, they're free to the city. They're the last two projects funded by a 2-year grant.
People come from all over the world on a regular basis to see where John Steinbeck was born and raised and the place that he wrote about.
And now those places, famous worldwide, could be mapped out. The historic and literary sites that run through the entire city of Salinas.
To install literary markers or literary landmarks, they're called both things, and also public art.
12 sculptures made of giant pieces of granite engraved with quotes from John Steinbeck's works.
If you can imagine, this is 5 feet tall.
Art sculptures will have John Steinbeck's words on them, both in English and in Spanish.
If you go to a local park with your kids, there might be 3 stones that the kids have to go around and interact with in order to read the quote around the rocks.
Sculptures would be placed at all 3 Salinas libraries, the National Steinbeck Center, and 5 parks, including Central, Natividad Creek, Closter, and Sherwood parks, and the soccer field complex. And literary markers would dot Salinas.
So, for example, one of the places in Steinbeck's writing is Bell's Candy Store in downtown Salinas, and there'll be a marker where that store would have been.
And we tried to pick different parts of the city and to show that there isn't just one section. Although John Steinbeck grew up in South Salinas, there isn't just one part of the city that's important.
A walking tour is in the works, available to visitors around town and on the internet.
We get asked all the time about a walking tour of Salinas. Go on your iPhone and Google where these places are, and it will map through the city of Salinas so you can find all the literary markers and all these city sculptures.
And visitors spreading out to all parts of the city could mean a boost for local business.
Having, I think, a more comprehensive offering of sculptures and site visitations will really get people out into all areas of the city. And the more you have to offer, the longer they're staying, and the longer they're staying, the more they're going to take advantage of your services.
Now, in addition to the 12 sculptures, the library staff has identified 78 sites for markers that will mark the historical or literary significance of those exact sites. Now, they'll start with 12 markers, Dan, but those will be funded by the grant. Now, the rest of those, they're going to try and raise funding for as they go along in this project. Dan? All
right, we'll see which way it goes. Thanks very much, Brittany. Salinas' deputy librarian says local vendors and materials would be used in every step of this process. Granite for the sculptures would come from a quarry in Aromas, the markers made by artists from Moss Landing.